Hey, my name is Round, aka the Lioness, and today I would like to share a very personal story about how I moved to Vegas with nothing but prayer, faith, and a few wild confirmations from God. So it wasn't easy, but it was very necessary. And if you felt like your life is falling apart, like you're uncertain or unsure, this is for you. Stay tuned. So the very first time I ever flew to Vegas was in 2010. It was my very first flight ever. I was 5 months pregnant and I flew alone. It was for a birthday celebration. And while in Vegas, I just knew something felt right. Like I just felt like this was supposed to be my home. And when I got back home to Louisiana, I was telling everybody I'm moving to Vegas. I don't know when or how, but I'm moving to Vegas. Okay, so fast forward to 2020, I had a beauty business and I had a very loyal clientele. But deep down, I was just so unhappy. I wasn't happy. And then 2021, COVID happened. So that gave me a chance to sit with myself. And that's when Vegas came back into my spirit, like heavy. It was almost like life was crumbling just to push me forward towards something that I always knew was meant to happen. So right before I moved, this was around July, I brought my son to Vegas for his birthday and also to Cali to spend time with his dad for the summer. So at that point, I knew I was gonna move, but I just wasn't sure when. So while we were in Vegas, I wanted to see how my son liked it before making a big move. So we spent some time together and honestly, he liked it. So I took him to Cali to spend the summer with his dad, and while I was there, I tried to picture myself living there. I rode around to see if I liked the city, and I didn't like it. I dropped my son off. I went back to Vegas just to spend a few more days there before going to Louisiana, and that's when it just changed. That's when the moment solidified for me. So I drove around the city just filling it out. I applied for jobs. I explored different neighborhoods, and I paid attention to how I felt when I was riding around, and the feeling I had just felt like this is home. This is where I need to move. I even visited Texas. I went there once I got back to Louisiana for a microblading class, and I did the same. I drove around, explored different neighborhoods, and I didn't like it out there. I didn't like how I felt driving around out there, so I knew that wasn't where I needed to be. But Vegas, every time I came here, it just felt like home. It just felt like the place that I was supposed to be living at. So I kept it in my heart, I prayed about it, and eventually I made the move. So here's when it gets good. So I prayed, I asked God, give me a sign if it's meant for me to stay in Louisiana. It was around the time my lease was up, so I said, God, if it's meant for me to stay here, let my lease stay open. And I told my property manager that I was considering moving, and I asked her to let me know if someone signed the lease on my apartment. And so I prayed and I said, if it's not for me, someone will sign a lease on my apartment. Literally 3 days later, my property manager called me and I was very upset about this. She said, hey, someone signed a lease on your apartment and you need to move out. Just like that. And I was so upset. Like, you were supposed to let me know. You told me you was gonna let me know. But that also was my confirmation. I prayed for it and that was my sign. Okay. So even though I got the sign, I was still unsure. I was like, God, just give me another sign. And so I was in my bed praying, and I had these screensavers on my TV. They would show different countries. I'd never seen Vegas on the screen. So I was in my bed praying, and I'm like, God, just give me a sign. I need confirmation that you're telling me to move to Vegas. And literally when I opened my eyes, Vegas was on the TV screen at that moment, and I was in disbelief, but I knew, okay, I got it this time. This is my sign. You're telling me I need to go to Vegas. So it happened. So when I was getting ready to move, I was torn because I had just bought some things in my apartment. I had just had a glass dining table with my pink chairs and my pink bedroom set. It was just so beautiful. So I wanted to bring everything with me. So I put my things in storage just so I could figure everything out. I wanted to do a road trip, driving through like Mexico, Texas, because it was beautiful and I just wanted to see the scenery. But believe it or not, my storage caught fire. It was like God was saying, let it go, leave it all. I got it from here. And it was like, I was so scared. It was like that moment like broke me, but it also freed me in the same sense. So at that time, I was trying to secure a job before moving, and there was a lash company that I had interviewed with before I came back to Louisiana, and they wanted to hire me, but they didn't offer any benefits, so I didn't really feel comfortable. I kept seeing Hilton pop up online, and I didn't want to apply, but then something just said apply, and I did. So I had an interview, and I was hired on the call the same day. Alright, so in Vegas, my son and I, we lived in a hotel for about 2 months before we got our apartment. I had to rent a car, I was working at the time, just trying to figure everything out. Then my apartment came. It wasn't a brand new car, but it was a dream car that I had been wanting for 10 years, and I finally got it. Here's the part most people won't tell you: I got evicted from the first apartment. But before I moved, I had my eye on 2 apartments, so I ended up moving into the second apartment that I had my eye on, just like that. I truly believe it was God. Everything wasn't perfect, but it was divine. Every hard moment I had, it just taught me to rely on God and to trust His timing, even in silence. Yes, even in His silence. When I started over, I asked for support. I posted my cash tag on my socials, Instagram, Facebook, and not one person sent me a dime. Not one person. But honestly, it was a gift because I learned not to rely on anyone, and not to rely especially on anyone for the things that God promised me. And some people laughed at me, some people doubted me, but I did it anyway. I moved in faith. I moved with my son. No handouts, just faith. Has it always been easy? No. Especially this year, between dealing with life and my health, I've had to borrow money here and there. That was very humbling. I'm still standing, still thanking God, still trusting God, and not giving up. I share this because I know there's someone out there in their hotel era, or their no car season, or their God, are you there moments. And I want you to know He's moving, even now, even in silence. And that's where I am right now, walking by faith, even now. So don't give up, choose yourself, and trust in Him. If this touched you in any way, subscribe, and let's walk this faith journey together. This is the healed girl era, and we're walking it out with God.